Yeah, so there's so many things.
Yeah.
So increasing the amount of supply runs that you get, so how many orders you're placing through, and try and make them smaller and more regular. That's a great way to help with stock. Reducing the amount of inventory that you're holding, and whether that's through, depending on how you're shipping things, so you can reach demand and make sure that people have products as you need, that's a bit better organized. You can go through all of your costs, and I think this is a big one. Look at those costs that just come out every month, those recurring payments, and think about, okay, so what's a recurring payment that I'm using? Am I getting a return on that investment, or am I not? Because if you're not, then actually, do you need to pay for whatever subscription it is? Or do you need to downgrade? Or do you need to go to the free version? Another thing you can think about is so for a lot of us, say, and just to simplify the year, say we put in a big order for Christmas, in Q2, it's coming through, we get it, we get all these sales in Q4, we start the year and our cash bank account is looking really nice and healthy because we've had all these sales over the holiday season. So what could we do around changing some of our subscriptions to annual subscriptions rather than a monthly recurring cost? So maybe we can take advantage of that money we have, pay the cheaper value, because often they'll give you like 10 months for the price of 12, pay for that, and then you don't have that cost coming out every single month, because as you say, they all add up. And then also things about your financing and thinking about how long-term you're going to plan to grow. Is that going to be slow growth? Is that going to be getting loans and you have to pay those off? Think about how that fits in with how you want to grow your business, and make sure that you factor that in on top of your stock coming in and out. Because I think we forget about that. We often focus on our stock costs and our sales, and that's it. We forget about all the other stuff that sits underneath there. And those are actually generally where things go wrong, because we're pretty good at working out our margins on the buying and selling of products. We're just not necessarily so good at thinking about all the other costs that go into a business.
Right. And one of the other things I can think of too is if you're more cash rich, so cash in the bank, offer to pay your product early for a discount.
Yeah, prompt payment discounts. I mean, we've had some incredible ones, around 15, 20%. I mean, it makes a huge difference. I know. Yes. I think it was one of those golden ones.
I'm hiring you.
I think it's one of those golden things, is, as you said, with having your conversation with the suppliers. If you've worked with someone for a long time, all these little conversations you have, I think, is often where you find these little extra bits here and there, a percentage here, a percentage there, and it all adds up. But it all comes from forward planning and then communication with all the moving parts in your business. And often it's the communication and the organizing of that, whether it be how you transport stock or communicating with your suppliers, that then ends up being healthy for your cash flow.
Right. And by the way, that's completely the opposite of what we were talking about before. But let's say that you're doing some packaging in the US, or you have a US product and they give you 30-day terms. Well, if you're cash rich, you have some money in the bank and you check your cash forecast, everything's cool. You approach them and you say, look, if I pay this early, if I pay this 15 days, or I pay upon receipt, what could you give me? And a lot of the times they'll give you a pretty good, I don't know, I don't have the talent for 15% off, but Pip does.
I don't think it's necessarily a great sign for the supplier that they're that desperate for cash, if I'm honest, but
they might take it.
Yeah, that's it. You've got to remember that every business is going to be, potentially in a similar position to you. And I think actually just adding on to the planning, tax is another thing that we forget to plan for forget that we need cash for. So that is something, if there's anything you take away, it's putting money aside for your tax throughout the year, unless you know that you're going to have that cash sat there at the end of the year ready to pay your taxes. Because that's genuinely the killer for most of the businesses that I've worked with is the surprise tax bill. And that often comes from we're doing really well and we did not anticipate how much tax is now due.
Yeah. So you forget that one and all of a sudden there's a big tax bill. So what I do is I have in my Canadian account, Canadian, US, tax. Tax is a savings account. And what I'll take either 20 to 30% of whatever's coming in, and it funnels right over to the tax savings account. So if it's too much at the end of the year, I'm okay with that. You know, I'm 100%. But if I'm borrowing money or using money in my US account that should go over to tax, and I'm overspending or buying things or putting it against leases, I could be dead at the end of the year.
Yeah. Because tax is probably, and you can negotiate with whatever your tax service is. Certainly in the UK, you can organize different payment terms if you are in trouble, but I wouldn't ever recommend that as a way to go into it. As you say, if you put that cash aside and the bonuses at the end of the year, I do something very similar to you. I try and do it in a way that I anticipate I'll probably have a little bit of a bonus. And it's a nice bonus as a business owner, something to invest in, or, you know, to pull out and spend on a holiday or something fun. You know, it's one of those things that once you get into the habit of doing, it's so easy, but it's just getting into the habit of doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so easy to overlook that. Okay, Kelsey, now come on back.
Hello.
Look at that smiling face.
All right. So we did have a question. I think we touched on it a little bit after Jessica sent this in, but rookie question: how much do you analyze, weigh, taking loans or using credit cards? And how would you book, record all those sums coming in and going out?
Great question. And I wouldn't say that that's a kind of a rookie question at all. I think everybody at whatever level you are, you need to always think about where your financing is coming from, because every business needs financing, whether you're a beginner or whether, you know, you've been in the game forever. So for me, I would always look at the terms. So obviously a credit card, you generally have to pay off by the end of the month. You've got your 30 days. And often the percentage that you pay, if you don't pay that off, the interest you're paying tends to be fairly lethal. You know, it can often be double digits. And so you really want to think about, can I get the money there? So that to me, a credit card is an approach to use when you know you're definitely getting the money to pay off whatever your credit card bill is. You just don't have it quite yet. Where with some of the loans, I would always balance out how long the loan is for and what that interest rate is, and how the interest rate is set. So some will be variable and they'll match the market.